Well, hello, and welcome to another segment of the It Works Man Show. We do this call once a month to just give you a glimpse into the It Works lifestyle and talk about how you can do the same thing that we've done. It Works is growing at light speed, and this is the right place, the right time. So whoever invited you on this call, they truly care about you. Corey, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good, Rob. How about yourself, man?
Absolutely, man. I can't complain. And tonight we have one of my good buddies on here. Go back about several years ago. This man show call was actually something that I had started up for our team, and it was a private call that I did, just to try to help women on our team who was having issues getting men on board. And I talked to this guy about it because I was going to try to invite him on, and he said, "Man, this is awesome stuff. You should really do this for the whole company, man, and get it out there because it would help a lot more people." And I thank him for lighting the match that started a forest fire. It's been several years now. We've been going strong. Quentin Conway's on the call with me. How you doing, Quentin?
I'm doing good, man. Doing real good. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And, we for all those listening, we have the Man Cave. If your significant other's a distributor or you're a distributor and you're not in there, let's get you in there. We keep it positive. We're trying to, just keep a circle of guys, somewhere where guys can come and see men working the business, ask any questions, ask for help, anything you need. So with that being said, Quinn, take us back, man. How did It Works find you guys? Because I always say It Works finds you. We never find it.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. We've been with It Works for, 5 years. We just hit our 5-year anniversary. First of all, my name is Quentin Conway. I am the other half of the infamous Lori Conway, who's been rocking at this thing, like I said, since I think it was July of 2011. She's been a top earner since 2012. And really, our story went like this. She joined mid-year in 11. I was a banker. I did fine. I provided for my household the way I thought you're supposed to provide for your household. We lived an okay life. We're not a big rags to riches story. We did okay. We lived, though, a very, very busy life. So when my wife started this business in July of 11, I was not impressed. I was too busy to be impressed, I think is the way I would say that. And so I always say it's not that I was discouraging to her. I was simply uninvolved. I didn't pay much attention because we lived such a busy life. We have 4 kiddos. My wife was a stay-at-home mom. That was the plan we had since we started dating. And I was a vice president at a community bank. I did fine. I was, working my little career there, doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. And we were just kind of plugging away, living that American dream. So we saw it the way that, it's kind of scripted out for some of us to do it. And she actually went to a wrap party, was invited by someone she knew, a friend. Saw this thing, like, I see an opportunity here, boom. She was always doing something at home, even though she was a stay-at-home mom, taking care of 4 monkeys. She was always, making purses, or she was always hustling something, man. And she just took off. She was that next year she was a top earner. And it wasn't actually until 2012, like January of 2012, I can be very specific actually, but January of 2012 when I actually, started paying attention and getting my head out of my backside is kind of what I say. And then I joined the business in February of 2012, and by August of 2012, she had retired me. We had retired us from a 6-figure banking job. So.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Yet and still, so many people think they have security, in their profession until something happens, and then they have to scramble to recover when all the while they could have been working on a plan B, which we help them do here at It Works, and it's funny that you say that because April 2012 is when I started paying attention. My lady, Misty, she, was plugging away and got my attention. She hit diamond, and next thing I know, she's bringing home a $5,000 check, and I'm just like, do we need to send this back? Where you get this from? Is this even legit? What's going on? Because I didn't care before. And had the chance to meet Mark, and pretty much enough said. She took her moment, said, Mark, he thinks this is for women. Mark squeezed my hand, said, I'm not letting you out of this office until we get you. and the rest has been history. We've been running together ever since, and it's been beautiful. Corey, what do you think about what you heard so far, man?
It's let me take those guys on speaker. It's always interesting, man, to hear the stories. I mean, you guys are both 2012. My wife started November of 2012, so I guess we're like the 2012 crew here.
Right.
And in the same way, man, like, we didn't have a rags to riches story either. We both, I worked telecommunications, I had a 6-figure job, my wife had a master's degree, but, we were basically kind of like, what do they call it? Like the duck, right? Like you see the duck on top of the water and everything's cool, but like you look underneath and the feet are just kicking. And that's kind of where we were at that particular point in time, to where, we had debt, man, and we didn't know how to get ahead of that. We did things the quote unquote right way. We worked hard. She went to school. We tried to save money. We, didn't do dumb things like, spend all our money on like gold plated toilet paper or something, but we were looking for a way to create some additional income. And this business was something that came up that helped us do that, because when you're working 9 to 5, man, and I'm quite sure all you guys can attest, there's only 24 hours in the day, so like good luck trying to fit something of some substance, around that 9 to 5 to be able to earn some extra income. Good luck trying to go into your boss's office and saying, hey, you know what, if I just do a little extra, you think I can get a little extra overtime this week? Or, you think you can just give me a half $1 raise or something like that? So, it parallels, man. It's all one and the same. This business was something that, like you always say, Rob, we didn't find it, it found us, and it's something that, saved our lives even when we didn't know that we needed saving.
Absolutely. I agree with that too. Yeah, that's a big one. I love that you said that. I'm going to piggyback on that, because what the rest of our story changes quite dramatically, and what I would say by that is, we live a much different life than we do, today than we did before. But at the same time, what's really changed about our life is the dynamic of our relationship. And what I mean by that is, I was working a job that I hated. Like, I just was completely miserable doing what I did, to the extent that I didn't like who I was. Like, looking back on it now, and I didn't even feel it then. Looking back on it now, I was just a nasty guy. Like, I don't even like the version of myself when I was grinding out the way I was grinding out. And I didn't even realize that I was as bad as I was until I was behind it. And it took me a while, like 6 months out of it, where I could see, oh man, that's how I was rolling, that's how I was operating, and I didn't like it. And so not only has our family dynamic changed, our financial dynamic has changed, but our personality, our relationship, I mean, everything has changed for us. And so I just want to piggyback that, because what you said is important. This opportunity is more than money, man. So much more than money. And I get it. You hear these stories, and sometimes you think they're too good to be true. I thought all that stuff. I kind of coin a line with Lori. I say all the time, I've never been so happy to be so wrong so many times, and that's what it works is for me. I've been wrong so many times about everything I thought about this business, this industry, this rap. Everything was completely wrong. So I've never been happy to be so wrong so many times.
Man, that's awesome. I have to totally agree with both you guys. So, then we go into the phase where we look at it from a man's perspective. Quentin, what do you say to guys who say, look, Quentin, I feel out of place. I don't know how to fit into this. That's another reason I'm probably just going to reject this for now, because I don't see how I fit into this, as a man. What would you say to, those guys?
Well, I address that in a couple different ways. First of all, I'm that guy that walks right up to the elephant in the room, pats it on the head, and owns it. And it's easy for me because I have been Thomas the Doubter myself. I didn't believe this either. I still don't believe some of it. How can this possibly be true? How can I live the life I'm living? How can we do the things that we're doing? I get it. So when people are doubtful, that one's an easy one for me. When you cast doubt into the arena that we are currently battling in, I'm all for it, because I was that same exact person. So I just kind of I identify. I think a lot of times people just want to have, their thoughts, their fears, their doubts. They want some substance. They want you to say, hey, I get it. I've been there. I felt it. I've been in those shoes. They want to know that you've walked the mile that they're in. The other thing is, when people say, "Hey, I don't know about my place. This is a predominantly women's business, and men have a hard time struggling in this business." What I say to them is this: you're right. Whatever you think is true. Your right is your right. Your wrong is your wrong. If you think that you are going to struggle to find your place in this business, guess what? You probably are going to struggle to find your place in this business. But if you walk into this with the eyeballs of opportunity and say, you know what, I see an opportunity, and it doesn't matter if it's a male or female, or cast any kind of paint on this that you want, however you want to describe this opportunity, it doesn't really matter. What it is an actual opportunity. And so how can I best take advantage and put myself into an opportunity to succeed? And so, for people who have that mindset that I don't see how I can fit into this, I agree with them. I agree with you. First of all, I'm just going to say, Lori and I were talking about this on the way home. Your mind is so powerful. And so if you're sitting there constantly telling yourself that you can't find a way, that you can't find a place, you're probably going to be right. But if you approach the opportunity and say, man, I know I can find a way in this. This is a big old canvas, and I know I can paint parts of this, then you're also right. And so there's a lot of different ways to approach this. This is just a business. This is just an opportunity. I once heard someone say, how many men salon owners are out there in the world? And that really stuck with me, because I'm like, holy moly, you think salon, you think that's a predominantly female arena, right? Where you're going to get your hair done or your nails done. That's all about women. Well, how many men own salons? A ton of them. So what does the gender have to do with an opportunity? Not a thing, unless you believe it does.
Right, absolutely. And, one thing, I've even heard Mark say in the past, when you find a solution for women, you always have money in your pocket as a man. That's what It Works has done. That's what salons have done. And, not just women, we have things for anybody. If you have skin, we have something for you, So, I totally agree with what you said. Corey, you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, I would, because when I first started, so let's take it back, right? Because we probably got a lot of newer guys on this call, or maybe guys that haven't necessarily found their footing, and they're earning and getting that footing on tonight's call. When I first started, It Works was just as big as my house, right? I didn't know anybody that did it. It was something completely new to me. I had never heard of it before my wife started doing it, okay? And I remember I went to my first event. It was a one-team, one mission. It was in Virginia, and Mike was there. And that was kind of my first introduction to the culture of the company. And, from my vantage point, just kind of, thinking it through and thinking it out, I didn't care that it was I literally thought I was the only guy in the business, and that didn't bother me one bit, right? Like, I'm like, cool. I'm cool with that. Like, I got no qualms, no issues, you know what I mean? Like, if I get to, work a business, be around ladies all day, I'm not going to complain about that. Like, that's not a negative for me. And I remember looking at Mike, and then I remember going to my next event and seeing Mike, Mark, and Pam. And I thought to myself, I said, wow, well, the founder of this company is a guy. 2/3 of the three figureheads that you see up there on stage, 2/3 of them are men. So there's a place that's there. I doubt very seriously Mark is waking up and saying, man, I can't believe I got this business. That's a ladies' business. What am I doing here? That thought never crosses his mind. So to kind of tie it into what Quentin was saying, if you feel that, if you think that, if you believe that, you're going to make it a reality, man. And you know what? You're absolutely right. But like Quentin said, it's a business. It doesn't matter what the gender is. It doesn't matter. We just came back from Green Carpet, right? And they did the Black Diamond sit down talking section, right? And I went on Friday and I watched the broadcast on Saturday, right? So I kind of knew some of the things that were coming up. And when Mike sat down with Denise and Brandon Walsh, he started off by saying, anybody can do this business. You have a clinical psychologist and an aerospace engineer, and then you have me, a college dropout. So Mike's a college dropout. You got an aerospace engineer and a clinical psychologist. It doesn't matter if you went to school, you didn't go to school. It doesn't matter if you're from a small town, if you're from a big town. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is we all have the same opportunity in what you decide and choose to do with it. So if you need that weight lifted off your shoulders, I give you permission to take that off. I give you permission to put that down, aside, behind you, and never look back on it again, and to embrace this opportunity, without the weight or the crushing doubt that you may have.
That's well said.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you know, just even addressing the issue as far as, you know, just finding your role in this business. I mean, you know, Corey, you coined the phrase "be the man, not the mannequin." You know, and I love that. You know, because as men, we can't just stand idly by and say, okay, you know, that's yours, because when the big bucks come in as a man, you're going to say, okay, yeah, it's ours. So before that happens, we got to find a way to get involved. And Quinn, I know you always have some great tips on how guys can get involved early in the business.
Yeah, man, I'm all over the board on this one. I am so I'm the best and the worst guy to ask this question to. When, you know, if you'd asked me this, you know, we've done a lot of calls. I was doing calls when we started the cave, you know, 5 years ago. We started doing calls, and we talked about this topic. And my opinion now is changed from what it was then. I was pretty hardcore and kind of in your face about, you know, I think, and I still do believe that most men who struggle with this business, who struggle to find their belief or their way with this business, is largely due to pride. I still believe that. And I would attack that pretty vigorously. You know, I just coming right out. Again, I'm just a blunt guy. I'll walk up to that elephant and let's just talk about it. I'm sitting here, and most of that is pride for men. And so I've been there. I was he, so I can understand that and relate to it. So it's easy for me to talk to. And what has happened over time is I think I have seen a shift in my own dynamic, in that I believe this opportunity is really for everyone, but it isn't for everyone in the same way. And so I'm an all-in guy. My wife doesn't do anything in this business that I don't personally do. We work this hand in hand. We have roles that we are better at than she may be better at something than I am, or I may be better at than her, and so we may do more of those things. We strive very adamantly to work within our strengths and not focus on our weaknesses. And so what happens is, over time, my shift has become that I don't think every guy has to be this all-in, lime green, crazy Kool-Aid drinking guy. He doesn't have to be that guy. He can be whoever he is in his own comfortable strength. And I think part of the problems that we see is that you do see the all-in guys. There's some big names out there, some big faces that you see, and these guys are just all in. They're hardcore going at this, very visually going at it. You can see it. You can feel it. And a lot of the women will try to say, you know, I want my man to be like that. I want him to be all in. I want him to be doing it like this. I really wish you would do this, spouse. I really wish you could follow so-and-so. And I think that's a big problem, because so-and-so isn't me, you know. Rob's Rob, Quentin's Quentin, Corey's Corey. We all do the same thing, but we do it very differently. And so I believe very adamantly that any man has plenty of different roles that he can assume in this business, but they don't all have to be the same. And so I'm very encouraging to being supportive in your own strength. And I can't really give you a blanket answer. I mean, a specific answer, because that's going to vary. You know, you may have a guy that's all about numbers, and he's really good with working paperwork and taking care of the taxes and making sure everything's online. But you may have another guy who, I hate all that stuff, but I'm really good up in front of an audience. I don't like putting a rap on someone, but man, I can really help you train, and I can help you coach, or I can help talk to people. Or maybe you have that husband who doesn't like to be out there blitzing. He's not all in your face, but he's that guy when you're sitting around a campfire having a beer with the guys. He's that guy that says one or two things, and man, people listen. They may not attack it then or show interest then, but he's dropping those seeds. Everyone has a different role, and I'm going to credit Steven Schultz with really changing my dynamic on that. Like, Steven is a guy who I have secret admiration for, even though it's really not that secret. I told him, like, he's a guy that's not really out there. You don't see a lot of it works boldness from him, but I know he 100% is all in, because he's very supportive in his wife, in their relationship, in their business, and he doesn't do it in this very outspoken, flashy way. He's behind the scenes doing a lot of different things. You know, Steven is a different guy than Quentin is, and I would have challenged Steven differently 5 years ago than I would now. And he really opened my eyes to seeing how you can be very supportive in this business and do it in a lot of different ways. It doesn't mean that you have to wash the laundry and do the dishes, but maybe it does mean that. It doesn't mean that you have to watch the kids all the time and that you have to take care of the paperwork, but maybe it does mean that. So it's not an absolute. There's so many opportunities to assist and step up and be that man. in this business, in this opportunity, in your own relationship, that I'm really hesitant now to say, hey, guys, this is what you should do, because every relationship dynamic is different.
Absolutely. You pretty much put it in. That's what we tell our team, even the ladies on our team. Don't push him into doing what you think he should do. Ask him what he feels comfortable with doing. Ask him what maybe he feels as though he would be good at, and you'll probably get a much better response. Corey?
Man, I'm taking notes, man. Like I got to tell you, Quentin, man. Like I was that guy that had that one size kind of fits all kind of demeanor to it. And I think what I was doing was I was kind of overcompensating, my view of that, because I've seen so many people, whether they're in our downline or other folks, where, the guy is just like, meh, whatever.
Yeah, totally.
And that's something that, really stuck out in my crawl, because like we always say, there's no one that cares about the income in your household more than the two people that participate in it, or more if you got kids, right? So that was definitely like, that was an awesome way to kind of counterbalance and think of it, outside the box. The one thing that I will add is I was checking out Joel's podcast. This is maybe like a month or two ago, and he said something that stuck out to me that I always like to share. And he said that, as a spouse, as a duo, right, as a husband and wife team, or, boyfriend, girlfriend team, whatever it is, right, never have a bad day on the same day, right? So, if my girl's having, an off day, right, like if things just aren't going her way, I know that I'm going to be there to help pull the weight. I'm going to be there to help keep things afloat, because as long as you're taking a step forward each day, you're getting closer and closer to your goals. So in our household, we strive to never have a bad day on the same day. And how we accomplish that may vary depending upon what the obstacles are. Okay, it may be something as elementary as, maybe she's sick. Like my wife's pregnant right now, so maybe, she just doesn't have a lot of energy because, baby's, having a dance party, so maybe I do a training call, or maybe, I do whatever it is, or it could be something like, she went to a rap party and it didn't go so great, or maybe I did an appointment and it didn't go so great, so, just strive to just never have a bad day on the same day.
I think that's easily said. Sometimes it's a challenge, but it's very powerful. I mean, that's a powerful influence right there. And I want to add this, because I forgot to say it. I've said to a lot of women when we're up there and we're doing trainings, that sometimes, like you were talking about, Corey, that some of these guys are just jerks, man. Sometimes it sucks. And I'm sorry. Like, I just want to apologize. Like, there's a lot of those dudes out there that they're just rough, man. And I'm sorry. And that sucks. And now what? Because ultimately, you've got to suck it up and move forward, because you can't let anyone defeat the vision of the opportunity, And so I'm sorry. Let me own that. Let me put that on my shoulders for everyone on this call that has a man that's not supportive. So sorry. And so what I say a lot of guys is, sometimes being the biggest supporting cast to your wife really just means shutting up and staying out of the way. Let her do her thing. Give her 6 months, man. Just shut up. And so I'm going to take that burden. I'm going to apologize, because I know there's a lot of those guys out there. There are a lot fewer and farther between than they used to be, but it still happens, man, and it's rough. But we've got to keep going forward.
Absolutely. I totally agree with both of you guys are saying. Sometimes you just got to, as a man, step back. And, I kind of did that unknowingly. I just said, well, if it makes you happy, keep doing it. I have no interest. And I pretty much stayed out the way. I didn't try to sabotage it. I didn't try to put it down. I just didn't care, and in the long run, in hindsight, I look back and that helped us. By me not caring, I allowed her to go to work and say, well, I'm going to show him, and that's exactly what she did. So, we're coming towards the end of the call. I mean, Quentin, is there anything you'd like to leave the people with? Any last words?
Let's not call them last words. Right? We'll just call them party words.
Yeah.
No, I'm really on this passionate kick on the inside, where it matters, in my heart, about self-talk, man. A self-talk. We were driving home. We had a great conversation, Laura and I, and we were just it's been a hell of a year. I mean, just we have had the crap beat out of us this year. Lori's dad died. That took the wind out of her sails. He had been sick for a long time, and we really underestimated the impact that was going to have on her and our family emotionally, and that just sucks. It just sucks, So, and that's our story. But what I'm piggybacking off of that is about mindset, because what happens is we allow these crazy talks in our mind and in our head. We allow that Debbie Dowder, that devil on your shoulder, to keep creeping into your ear. And we related this back to our kids. Like Lori's doing a Zoom right now, actually, and I know she's talking about self-talk on that as well, because what happens is we have these people out there in business or that start an opportunity, and they bottle rocket. They may start off and then they start to fizzle. And when they start to fizzle, or they hit a bump, or they hit a roadblock, or they hit a challenge, or your dad dies and it takes the winds out of your sail, right then and there is when that self-talk can be so powerful, because it can be completely defeating. I mean, it can really make that bottle rocket go poop, and I'm done. It can make the winds drop completely out of your sail and be done. And what we were talking about was relating a lot of things we relate to our kiddos. And it's very much like parenting. Like if I was constantly telling my kid what a bad seed they were, and constantly tell them that, man, all the problems in this house with our kids are always related to you. Why are you the one that's always doing this? How come you do these things? Why are you the one that's always in trouble? How come you're always the one that's the loudest? If I keep feeding my kid with that constant negativity, what are they going to believe? They're going to believe that they are a problem. They're going to buy into that lie. They're going to buy into that story. That's going to become their story. But conversely, if I'm constantly telling my kid, man, you are a superstar. You're the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. You are a star in this household. You matter. Your opinions matter. You're such a great, shining person. We love the way you smile. I love the way you laugh. I love the joy you bring into a room. If I'm constantly filling my kid with that, what are they going to believe? They're going to believe that they're a star. They're going to believe that they bring joy, because they do. And so what happens is, take those things that you're filling in your head and then put them all in your head, because that's what you're doing. You're self-talking to yourself all day long. And a lot of it is bogus crap. And we can start believing our own crap. It's amazing to me. And so goes back to what Corey was saying about, never have a bad day together. That's so, I think Joel was saying that, but it's so powerful, but so difficult, because you can tell when someone's having a bad day. You can tell when they're off, but can you always tell when you're off? That's a really good question. And so always be challenging the thoughts that are running through your head. There's so many thoughts, some of them positive, some of them negative, some of them neutral, some of them you're not even sure about, but challenge those thoughts, because that self-talk is just as important as that talk that you're speaking life or death into your kids. It's the exact same thing that you're doing to yourself. Self-talk, that's what I want to leave you with.
Corey?
I'll wrap it up with 3 points, man. And these are kind of some of my personal notes that I took coming back from Green Carpet. So the first point is, if you haven't gotten to an event, get to an event. Whether it's a one team, one mission, whether it's It Works You, whether it's Green Carpet or a conference, get there. I'm not telling you to go there because it's the cliche thing. I'm telling you to go there because something different will happen to you when you leave. You'll be a different person than when you leave. And if you've been in this business, this is something that came from the Black Diamond panel. If you've been in this business for 6 months or more and you're not yet Ruby, you need to take action. Okay? So either you take action or you come to terms and know that your mind isn't right. Your mind isn't in it. Maybe your belief isn't there. And if you want your check to grow, you need to grow your belief. How do you grow your belief? By taking action. Now, it sounds like I just talked in a big circle, but if you listen to it and you break it down, it will change everything for you. If your check isn't growing, grow your belief. Put a wrap on somebody. Put a wrap on yourself. Try a hair skin and nail. Try the greens. Try whatever product it is that tickles your fancy. Try that and grow your belief. Go out and speak to somebody. Go out and help someone get results, because that will be the ember that starts the flame, that starts the inferno, that pushes you and drives you towards the success that you have in your business.
Absolutely, man. And, I'll end it off by just saying, I look back on so many things we were able to accomplish because of It Works. And I think back to one of my past birthdays. She was able to set it up so that I could hang out with one of the greatest speakers in the world, motivational speakers. He goes by the name of Les Brown. I got to spend some time with him. And just a words that stuck out with me. He said, Rob, first of all, I want you to know you're the future. Second of all, stop being affected by people with possibility blindness. People aren't going to always see what you see. It's been revealed to you. Just like you're on this call listening, it may have just been revealed to you, not your family, not your friends, not people you want to be on this journey with you. If it's revealed to you, you have to take action. I was taking my little brother back to college, and I asked him, I said, what's the most valuable place in the world? He said, Las Vegas. He said, no, Dubai. It's got to be Dubai. I said, no, it's the graveyard, because so many people take their hopes and dreams to the grave with them because of something someone rejected that they thought they would accept, or because they just gave up on their dreams and stopped pursuing them. Don't take your dreams to the graveyard with you. That's selfish. You have gifts in you that can change the world. So I want to thank everybody for being on this call tonight. Quentin, Corey, I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate having us.
Absolutely. Good night, everyone.